But the problem with this view is that it doesn't do justice to the many, many texts, not one or two, many, many texts that describe not just distinct persons, but interactions between those distinct persons. So, for example, if you read Zechariah 1, 2, and 3, you'll see that there is the person of Yahweh, the Father there, and then you'll see that there is the angel of the Lord, and then you'll see also a reference to the work of the Holy Spirit. And they're clearly distinguished in the same way as they're distinguished in Ezekiel chapter 1 through chapter 10. So, for example, Jesus says in the Gospel of John, no man sees or knows the Father at any time. No one saw the Father. John 1 says the exact same thing, that no man knows the Father. No man sees the Father. And so the point there is that at Mount Sinai, Jesus is saying that I was the one interacting with Moses. Now, if we go to Hebrews 1, what we see is that Jesus is spoken of in Hebrews 1 as the direct icon of the Father. He is not the Father. He is the icon or the image of the Father. So to be the image, the direct image of something, is to be distinguished from that thing. Right? So if Jesus was identical to the Father, it would make no sense for him to be an icon of the person of the Father. Likewise, if we go to the Gospel of John, we see that in chapter 1, Jesus is spoken of as being with the Father before the foundation of the world from all eternity. Then John says that the Son was eternally in the bosom of the Father. So there's a clear distinction that the Father sends the Son to do his mission and his work on earth, to be begotten of a woman, which is a separate begetting from his eternal begetting from the Father. So he can't be identical to the Father if there's an eternal begetting that's spoken of in John 1 that the Father does to produce the Son eternally. Next, I would point to the baptism of Christ, where in what's in the Orthodox Church called Theophany, we have a manifestation or a revelation of, at Jesus' baptism, all three persons, and we see specific actions proper to specific persons. So, for example, the Son, when he's baptized, the Father speaks, "This is my beloved Son." That is not an alternate personality in Jesus' mind. Jesus isn't schizophrenic. It's not an imagined thing. He's not talking to himself. It really is a distinct hypostasis of the Father speaking to the public people there about the role of the Son. About the person of the Son and what the Father sent him to do and how the Father is pleased in the Son's work. Next, I would say when you go into the later chapters of John, particularly John 14, 15, 16, and 17, there's a consistent pattern of Jesus talking about his relationship to the Father. I, the second person of the Godhead, the Son, will ask the Father, and he, the Father, will send you the Spirit, the Comforter. The Spirit, when he comes, so the he there references these three persons, not persona or masks, distinct persons that speak to and have a relationship to one another. So the Spirit, for example, is said by Jesus to proceed from the Father from all eternity. If he was identical to the Father, he could not proceed from the Father for all eternity. So the consistent language of the New Testament is that there is a unity in God. That is, that there's one God because there's one Father who communicates that single divine essence or nature to the Son that he generates and to the Spirit that he spirates. So there's a unity of nature, but a distinction of persons. And that distinction of persons really is a distinction of persons. So it's not a mask. It's not a mode. It's not them play acting. They really are distinct. For example, who dies on the cross? The New Testament, all the history of the church testifies to the fact that it is the second person of the Godhead that dies on the cross. The Father does not die on the cross. Okay? That would be patripassianism, that the Father died. And that's another early church heresy that's rejected. So the distinction of the persons has to be balanced with the unity of the nature and the unity of God located in the person of the Father who communicates that one nature. So it's a both and not an either or. And that's why the church eventually, well, actually very early on in the first few centuries, rejects the view that you have called modalism, because it's just simply, not only is it incorrect philosophically, it just ignores and does not do justice to many New Testament passages that clearly distinguish the persons, while at the same time noting a unity of essence or nature that they all share.